Look at that beautiful loaf of bread. And it's nice and soft too. Hey sweeties, it's Demetra. Welcome to Sweet Savant, and today we are making homemade bread. Made in the Ninja Foodi Steam and Crisp. The recipe in the book makes 2 smallish loaves, so you can bake one now and then bake one tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, I'm super excited to slice into this. But first, please subscribe to Sweet Savant. Hit that thumbs up, that notification bell, and let's talk about this fresh baked bread, proofed and baked in the Ninja Foodi Steam and Crisp, air fryer, pressure cooker, all that good stuff. Let's start mixing up our dough. I'm using this recipe from the book included with our Ninja Foodi Steam Fryer, Pressure Cooker, Air Fryer. And it is this crusty bread recipe. And it starts off with adding 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour to our stand mixer, 3.5 level cups. Scoop it up and level it off. Three and a half. Instant yeast. It's 1, 2. Lukewarm water. 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. 2.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to put that on our stand mixer and let it go until it makes a dough ball. While the recipe calls for 4 cups of flour, you only add 3.5 cups first, and then add the flour 2 tablespoons at a time if you need it. And I needed all 4 cups of flour for this recipe. We'll sprinkle a little flour on our counter and finish kneading this dough by hand. And a little extra flour just helps to keep the dough from sticking to our hands and our counter. This recipe makes 2 loaves, so we're going to divide this dough in half. We will bake 1/2 in the Ninja Foodi 8-quart pressure cooker steam fryer, and 1/2 we will bake in the oven. Let's prepare our cook and crisp basket with a little parchment paper. We don't need too much because that's just going to get in our way, so we'll tear it down a little bit and spritz it with a little oil. It calls for non-stick cooking spray, but I didn't have any, so I just spritzed a little bit of canola oil on the paper. Put our dough ball inside, and then drop the whole thing into the cooking pot of our Ninja Foodi. Turn the power on, shut the lid, and make sure that this slider is set to the air fry stovetop setting. And you can see when we slide, it's already on air fry stovetop, but just to show you, it lights up like that's steam and crisp, and that's pressure. So keep it all the way over to the right, and that is the air fry stovetop setting. Then we'll turn the knob to proof, and the recipe says for us to proof at 95 degrees, and that arrow up and down sets the temperature, and the arrow up and down on the right side, that sets your time. So set for 50 minutes. And now we wait. The bread will rise in a controlled, warm environment. Now we'll prep a sheet pan with a little parchment paper, spritz with a little oil, and this is for the dough ball that we are going to bake in the oven. We'll just put that on the counter to let it proof. All right, that first proof is done. Let's lift it up and take a look. Okay, now let's compare this. I'm gonna get the other dough that we had just kind of sitting on the counter. Here's the dough that has been proofing in the Ninja Foodi compared to the dough that's been proofing on just on the counter near the oven. And the oven was on, so it was a little warm over there. Now it says to punch it down and let it proof again. So we'll punch it down, form it into a ball, and we're going to do the same with this one. Add our remaining quarter cup of water to the cooking pot. And take our dough we've punched down, form it back into a ball. We're just going to repeat that same process. Put it into our cooking crisp basket and back. 95 degrees, 50 minutes, and press start, stop. Let it have a second rise and check it after 30 minutes to see if the dough has doubled in size. If it is not doubled in size after 30 minutes, we'll just close the lid back down and let it continue proofing for the remaining 20 minutes. So we've got our dough that was just sitting on the counter. We're gonna just do the same thing, deflate it, form it into a ball, and let it rise again. I'm gonna put this back over by the stove where it's warmer. It's a cool day today, and let that continue to rise. It has been 30 minutes for this second proofing. Let's take a look. I don't think that's quite doubled in size, so I'm gonna let it continue for the rest of that time. There's 17 minutes left. This is what our dough looks like, the other half of that dough. They look fairly close in size. So let me shut this back down and I'll be back in about 17 minutes and 37. It's been 20 minutes, it's finished proofing. Let's lift it up. Okay. That looks good. Now we take that slider and move it over to steam and crisp. Turn the temperature to 350 degrees. The time, 20 minutes, which is already on, and the setting should be steam and crisp as well. Press start, stop, and it will do this pre-setting, or sort of preheat, pre-steam for, it says here 5 minutes in the book, and we'll see how long it actually takes. All right, now it's time to bake our other loaf of bread. I've got a roasting pan, and I'll pour some water. So we'll get some steam. We'll pop our bread inside and let that go for 20 minutes. There's the steam. So it should be ready to go any minute now. All right, the Ninja Foodi is now counting down. It took quite a while on that preheat setting, on that pre-setting. It was probably about 10 minutes, not the 5 that it said it might be in the booklet, but can you see the steam there coming out the back? All right, see you in 19 minutes. All right, it has been 20 minutes. Let's check on the bread that is in the oven. Wow. The oven needed to be much hotter, like 350 degrees. was way too cool to bake bread. It should have been closer to 400, but that's what we got. And now we'll wait and see what the bread from the Ninja Foodi looks like. It's almost time. I'm very excited to see. There we go, how this looks. Lift here. Oh, well, that looks good. Put on my glove. Pull that out. Now it says to let this cool on a wire rack for 30 minutes. That's going to be the hard part. Let's take a look. You can see it's even a little bubbly on the top. That's interesting. And there's the bottom. And let's compare it to the oven, one that was baked in the oven. Now this really was not a fair test because it would need much more time to proof, and the oven would have to be hotter in order for it to bake. So it would take longer in a hotter oven to get similar results. Well, we've been patient, and now it's time to slice our bread. Look at that. That's pretty. Ooh, listen to the crackly crust. And it's nice and soft too. Really soft inside, crispy crust on the top. I'm happy with the way this came out. I'm gonna cut into this sort of sad, pale loaf that was baked in the oven. It's dense because it didn't rise as well. Smells yeastier. Yeah. That's not gonna do it. It's dense and doughy. So if you're gonna bake bread from scratch in the oven, it'll need more time to proof and a longer, hotter oven temperature to get a brown crust. So it just doesn't translate trying to bake this same recipe in the oven along the same time frame. That just didn't work. But you get the idea. Let me get rid of this. Hang on. Ninja Foodi bread, crusty loaf of homemade white bread. Didn't take very long. It was quite tasty. I'll definitely make this again. Please subscribe to Sweet Savant. Hit that thumbs up, that notification bell, and you'll have a delicious day.